Hello and welcome back to another week of Sambo iRacing. We are in the brand new Ferrari 296 Challenge Edition on iRacing. This time at the Red Bull Ring for another track guide. So it's my first time driving the car. I was pleasantly surprised. I was expecting something that handled like an absolute cow. But no, this car is more prone to understeer than oversteer. And it does require a hell of a lot of trail braking to actually get it turned in. Anyway, if you're new to my channel, what we do is a hot lap and then a breakdown. Then we're back in the cockpit one final time with the driving line on. Any questions, let me know in the comments, and let's start the hot lap. Right, just before we start the hot lap, I will point out that this is on the fixed setup, but this is late in a stint. So it's probably slightly lower fuel than we'll use in the race. 150 meter board, brake hard, trail it off, down to third gear, back on the gas at the apex. Don't hit the yellow curving, or don't jump the yellow curving on exit. Sometimes it can actually straighten you out if you just hit it right. So again, 150 meter board on the left hand side, brake hard, hold it, still holding it, down to second, back on the gas at the apex, gently feeding the power back on. I've got 200 kilo load cell pedals, so that corner was giving my left leg a right workout. And again, just after the 150 this time, braking a straight line, wipe it all off, down to second gear after the trail off. I was surprised. I was expecting a very oversteery car. Keep your left wheels just in the track here. Now get up onto the curving, gently back on with the gas. And again, a nice trail off, down to third gear. It's so easy to run wide there, and then you've got an off track on your right hand side. I missed the off tracks by about an inch on every one of these corners, only because I kept hitting them before. So 100 meter board on this second to last corner. Down to fourth, back on the gas, little dab on the brakes again, trail it off, down to third. I missed the apex there, it cost me about half a tenth. And over and across the line in a 1:26 point, let me move this over, 9:52. Right, let's do the breakdown. Right, breakdown. So we're in top gear. First one's we're just gonna brake just after the 150. So we have got tiny brakes on this vehicle. So we're braking almost up to full. We're gonna start trailing it off, drop it down to third, and then as we get to the apex, we're building back up on the gas, and we can get on the gas quite early. So you can get on the gas quite early in this car. I was mega surprised by the amount of understeer. It does mean it's a lot safer car. I thought we were going to have an absolute rocket that was going to be a nightmare in D-Class. Right, and again, 150 meter board on the left-hand side, and we're braking, holding it right up there at 85%. Wow, all the way up here. Try not to trigger the ABS. Then we trail it off, drop it down to second, and we're still trailing off. We get to the apex. It is a tricky corner, turn 3, and now we get back on the gas, and we're just slowly feeding the power back on until we're more or less straight. Again, just using that yellow curve just to straighten the car and exit. So next braking marker, again the 150 on the left-hand side, as you can see. So this time, again, we're braking up to like 90%, just all crept above that. I was obviously worried I wasn't going to slow down in time. Trail it off, down to the apex, drop it down to second gear. When we hit the apex, we start getting back on the gas, and again, get up to 100% as we start to unwind that wheel. So this next corner is very easy to get an off track. So you want to be as far over to the right-hand side as possible, but you want to keep your left-hand tires just on the actual track itself. So the braking marker is the 100 for this one. We get over there, we wipe all that speed off. Now we're going to start turning in as we trail off. We drop it down to third gear, still trailing off on the brakes, as you can see, all the way down to the apex here, which is when we're just holding it at around 2/3 pressure. And now as we come off, we open up the steering and we get back up to 100%. And it's the end of this green asphalt here is going to be our next braking marker. So we're only up to about 55% there, and it's a quick trail off. Dropping it down to third gear, and again we're just trying to get our left-hand tires up on the curving here. Just 2 corners to go. So this one is just before the 100, so we've just run through the 150, and just before we get to the 100, we start hitting the brakes, as you can see here, and we go up to about 85%, trail that off, we drop it down to 5th, down to 4th, we're still trailing it off. Now, I was probably slightly late on the gas here because I was looking at my delta and it was quite a good one. We then get back up to 100%. And for the final corner, it's just before we get to this sort of Austrian flag on the left-hand side in the asphalt. And we're going to brake up to about 65%. Again, trail it off, dropping it down to 3rd. You can cut the corner slightly more than I have here, and that does allow you to get on the gas that little bit earlier. You can exit nice and wide. You've probably got another 2 feet to my left-hand side before it's an off-track there. And that's it, over across the line in, as I say, a 126.952. We have the version with the driving line coming up next without me talking. Enjoy.